Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning into the GSMC Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. My name is Samantha Genzer. I'm going to be your show host for you today. We have a very exciting episode for you guys. We're going to be covering the Women's Softball World Series, the NWSL draft picks and how they're doing now, Olympic updates with Gabby Douglas and the qualified soccer teams, those competing in the U.S. Women's Open today, and make sure you stay till the end to hear about the USATF Masters 1 Mile Championships. Before we begin, I wanted to ask you guys to like and follow the show, and to become a part of our show to tip and donate using the link gsmcpodcast.net. Also, we do get a lot of questions and comments from viewers that come in during the show, so to ensure that your questions get read on the air, I ask that you use the link gsmcpodcast.net. This puts your questions at the top of the list so that I see them, and of course, it really helps the show. Once again, the link is gsmcpodcast.net. Okay, now let's get started. I hope you guys enjoy today's content. So we're going to be starting today's episode by talking about today's World Series games. The first and second game have already passed, and we're going to get started talking about how those games went. Afterwards, we're going to talk about some predictions for the third and fourth game. The third game is currently going on right now, or at least it should be. There were some weather delays for the first game, so everything got kind of pushed back. So obviously I don't have the scores for the third game yet, so we are going to be doing predictions on that too. Okay, let's get started with game one. Alabama and UCLA went head-to-head, and UCLA came out on top. Not much of a shocker there. The score was tied at 0-0 during the first and second inning. In the third inning, UCLA got a point with Janelle Miono scoring, and then the fifth inning, Kenny Pate scored for Alabama. During the sixth inning, the game went really interesting. At the end of the inning, the score read, I just lost my voice. The score read 1-4 with UCLA taking the lead. Maya Brady, Jordan Woolery, and Lauren Hatch all made a run for the team. Woolery got a home run. UCLA really dominated batting. They did get a few walks, which helped them end up scoring in some, but their score was mainly due to their batting. Defensively, they were strong, especially with pitching. Alabama just struggled offensively with batting. They did have more strikeouts, which definitely put them at a disadvantage for offense. Regardless, it was a really good game on both ends. I was very much rooting for Alabama because they kind of had a full-on big moment for them when they knocked Tennessee out of the World Series. So I was rooting for them as the underdogs, but I am not shocked that UCLA ended up coming on top just because they've done better all season, basically. It wasn't too much of a shock, but it does kind of stink that, the underdogs are out. Second game, it was Duke against the University of Oklahoma. Duke was at number 10 and Oklahoma was at number 2. So I feel like we all kind of expected who was going to win this game, especially because we all know University of Oklahoma is so good at softball. They won the last 3 championships. They're going to knock Duke out of there. This game was honestly a nightmare for Duke. Oklahoma absolutely crushed Duke at the final score of 1-9. Duke scored in the second inning, but they were unable to maintain that lead. And then the third inning, Oklahoma got 4 runs, putting them way ahead. And then in the following inning, Oklahoma scored another 3 runs. By the last inning, it was very clear that Oklahoma was going to take this victory, and they scored another 2 runs. It was still a rough loss for Duke, but they still played decently as a team. Francesca Frelick scored the point for Duke, and Jada Coleman, Tyre Jennings, Maya Bland, Kenzie Hansen, Alyssa Brito, Alina Torres, Riley Boone, and Sydney Sanders all scored the 9 points for Oklahoma. Jada Coleman got 2 runs. I don't know. This game was interesting because I felt like there was kind of more mental aspects to it. The game, the UCLA v. Why am I forgetting? The UCLA v. Alabama game. That one felt more of just a skill base, what team is better. Obviously, we know which team is better here, Oklahoma and Duke. Oklahoma is better, is the better team. But I also felt like as soon as Oklahoma got that 1 point on the board, they just dominated from there. They just kind of got in Duke's head, it felt like, because Duke just kind of fell back on their feet afterwards a bit. Anyway, we're going to talk about Game 3 and 4. Game 3, like I said, is still going on. So we're going to talk about some predictions before I look at the current score and such. And then Game 4 will take place at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, so 30 minutes after we finish today's episode. Recommend you guys go watch that. But I will say, because of the weather delays, don't count me that it is going on at 9:30 p.m. It might have changed. I don't know. So don't count me on that. Okay, Game 3 is number 8, Stanford v. number 1 UT Austin. This is probably not going to come as a shocker, but I am predicting that UT Austin is going to win this game. They have played the most games against the WCWS field, and honestly, having that experience helps the team feel more comfortable playing where they're at. I think the righty trio of Tegan, Kavan, Mac Morgan, and Siloli Gutierrez is diverse and has their own strengths in some ways. Kavan has the strikeout picture, Morgan has the highest velocity, and Gutierrez offers the most control. When both Gutierrez and Kavan struggled against A&M in the Super Regionals, Morgan put out fires in the first 2 games and won the third. So they have that ability to back each other up. Also, I can't forget to mention that UT Austin has the best batting average in the country. Only Florida runs the bases better, and Texas beats all the teams with depth. 9 players have come to bat at least 100 times in 2024, and 8 of them boast an OPS over 1,000. 5 of the 9 regulars have hit at least 8 home runs. 8 have driven in at least 30 runs, and all 9 have scored at least 34 runs. So there's no wink link there. Even in an elite lineup, first baseman Reese Outwood stands out. Among Power Conference hitters, the Big 12 Player of the Year is first nationally in total bases, RBIs, home runs, and struggling percentage. Now, if we look specifically at Stanford, pitching is everything for them because they don't really have enough offense, and I have a confident feeling that no matter what, UT Austin would dominate them in offense. In 15 losses this season, they scored either 0 or 1 run 9 times. Taryn Kern is an absolute beast as a leadoff hitter. She averages 4.8 pitches per plate appearance, while most players average under 4. She never changes the pitch, and when she makes contacts, it's pretty violent. She's by far the team leader in both on-base percentage and slugging percentage. Stanford has a couple of all-or-nothing hitters behind her. Lefty first baseman Ava Gall and righty catcher Alec Hinashero have combined for 21 home runs and 78 RBIs. That combo can work pretty well, but the bottom of the order doesn't always offer much, to be honest. Still, I'm more confident that with Texas's offense and each of their strong players, they have more of a chance to beat Stanford. Also, when just looking at their current standings and record this season, and I know that is the most boring and basic way to make a prediction, they do look a lot stronger as a team and do seem like they would come out on top. Now to Game 4. Game 4 is number 5 Oklahoma State v. number 4 Florida State University. University of Florida. Oh my gosh. Florida State got knocked out a little while ago. I feel like, okay, so in ESPN or most sports networks, they just write Florida and like Oklahoma, University of Oklahoma as Oklahoma. And I don't know why, but that always confuses me because I'm always like Oklahoma State or Oklahoma University. Like, I don't know. But I don't know. That's just me. That's just me being me. Okay, so Oklahoma State v. University of Florida, so the Gators. So this is a game that I'm looking forward to the most because I am not totally 100% confident in predicting which team would win. OSU does most of its damage in one specific way, by swinging for the fences. They are 5th nationally in home run rate and 5th in isolated power. They swing at only 42.3% of pitches, and they look for the right pitch to mash. And when they do, they mash it for sure. They're strong offensively when they want to be and when they have the opportunities to be. While catcher Caroline Wang leads the team with 17 home runs, 51 RBIs, and a .376 batting average, 4 others have hit at least 10 dingers. That's over half the lineup with serious power. Kilfoyle, a second-year Alabama transfer, is 26-3 for the season. She and secondary pitchers Ivy Rosenberry and Kyra Arock are all righties, and they all throw 63 to 68% of their strikes on the outside half of the plate. They can nibble a bit too much at times, but you don't ever get anything. But you don't just like always get everything good to hit, if that makes sense. Like, you're not always gonna get a perfect pitch, you know. Kilfoyle was up and down to start the year. She was mostly awesome, but got knocked around by Georgia, Wichita State, and UCF. But since March 28th, when she shut out Texas, she has been perhaps the best pitcher in the country, or at least very close to Najari Kennedy. I don't want to say she's the best pitcher because, you know, Kennedy is very much up there. On the other side, the University of Florida's run totals are awfully close to future conference mates Texas and Oklahoma, despite playing in the SEC, which qualified every team for the NCAAs and occupied 8 of the 16 national seeds. Florida allows 2.9 runs per game, and they've given up 40 home runs. Freshman Keegan Rothrock has started 40 of 64 games this season, and she's got power and plenty of strikeout capability. But I feel like they're going to hit the ball even harder. They're 4th in runs per game, 3rd in on-base percentage, and 4th in isolated power. They're right there with Texas and Oklahoma. Reagan Walsh leads the team with 17 home runs, and Wallace has 14 home runs and 35 stolen bases, which is actually the 3rd in the most country, which is really impressive. That is a ridiculous combination, having both of them. They have the ability to exhaust OSU with all the ways they can generate offense, and that is what would be their biggest advantage in this game. Okay, so to wrap this up, after laying this all out, I am predicting that Florida will win. The University of Florida appears slightly more balanced between the pitching and offense. Their ability to score runs consistently and their offensive versatility might give them an edge over Oklahoma State's power-heavy strategy. Also, Florida's performance in the competitive SEC, which has all teams in the NCAA tournament, kind of suggests they're well-tested against strong teams, and my prediction would have to lean towards the University of Florida winning this game, particularly if they can handle OSU's power hitters and exploit any over-resilience on home runs by OSU. However, it is likely going to be a very close game, given both teams' capabilities. I don't think there's going to be a full-on, for sure this is the winner. I think it's going to be super close. Now, we are going, someone just said they love my shop. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And now we're going to move on to our next segment where we talk about the NWSL draft picks from the beginning of the year and how those players are currently doing in the league. I absolutely love talking about soccer, so I'm very excited for this. Before we get into that, we are going to be taking a short break, so I will see you guys very soon.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
Hello guys, welcome back to the GSMC Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We just got done talking about the Women's College World Series games that happened today and also predicting Game 3 and 4. We're now going to transition to talk about soccer. We're going to talk about the NWSL draft picks and how they're doing. So on January 12th, 56 NCAA women's soccer student athletes were picked in the 2024 National Women's Soccer League draft to advance their careers to the professional level. The NWSL draft consisted of 4 14-player rounds, which was the league's largest draft class yet. The draft featured players from 30 different colleges, 5 of which saw a player drafted for the first time in program history, which is great. Obviously, we're not going to talk about all 56 players. I wish we could, but that's just not, that's a lot of time there. We're just going to talk about the top 10 draft picks and where they're headed to next, or where they're headed right now, I should say, and how they've been doing, how they did, and, all of their successes, or maybe actually all of them have been successful. So we're going to talk about all of that. Before we start, I wanted to remind you guys to like and follow the show and to become a part of our show to tip and donate using the link gsmcpodcast.net. This also puts your questions and comments at the top of the list so that I see them and they get read on the air. And of course, it really does help the show. I'm so sorry. I just blanked out on what the link was, and it's right in front of me. And once again, the link is gsmcpodcast.net. We really do appreciate all your guys' support. So now that we got that out of the way, it is time to talk about all of these amazing soccer players. Okay, so the number one pick was North Carolina's forward Allie Setner. UNC Chapel Hill had the most players drafted in the NWSL with a total of 6 players. That's huge. That is a huge accomplishment for the school. Setner signed a 3-year contract with the club in February 2024. She made her debut as a starter in the season opener against the Chicago Red Stars on March 16th. The next week, she scored her first professional goal, taken from the corner of the penalty box off a long dribble, and a 2-1 home win over the North Carolina Courage on March 22nd. Since then, she has played a total of 11 games and scored a total of 2 goals and had 2 assists. Also, in 2022, Setner competed at the international level in the U20 FIFA Women's World Cup, where she scored 1 goal in 3 matches. She truly is, it makes sense. It makes very much sense why she is the number 1 draft pick. She has so much skill, and she's so speedy, and she has already accomplished so much, being this is her first year. I don't know, she's just so impressive. I can't. Anyway, we're now going to move on to the second pick from North Carolina, again, now playing for the Bay FC, which is Savvy King. Her full name is Savannah, but she goes by Savvy. King was the starting center back for North Carolina in 2023. Head coach Anson Dorrance called her performance in the team's scoreless season opener at Penn State the, quote, best first game performance by a freshman in program history. In the first 3 weeks of the season, she received 2 Atlantic Coast Conference Defensive Player of the Week awards, as North Carolina conceded only 2 goals in the first 6 matches. Also, in 2022, she played in the U17 FIFA Women's World Cup. King made her debut as the starting left back in the Bay FC's first game ever against Angel City FC on March 17th. She's been pretty strong so far. The number 3 player was Croy Bethune, playing for the Washington Spirit. She played 3 seasons at the University of Southern California, but ended up missing her freshman season due to an ACL tear. Bethune transferred to the University of Georgia for the 2023 season, though she tore her ACL again for the 3rd time while still at USC, finishing her undergraduate degree. She led Georgia to the first season postseason title in program history at the 2023 SEC tournament and was named the tournament's most valuable player. She signed a 3-year contract with a 1-year option with the Spirit. She scored her first professional goal late in stoppage time to beat Bay FC 2-1 on March 23rd. The following month, she scored in consecutive wins against the Houston Dash on April 12th and NJ/NY Gotham FC on April 20th. For her performance, she was named the NWSL Rookie of the Month for March. And then on May 2nd, she assisted 3 times in a 4-2 win over the Chicago Red Stars, becoming the youngest NWSL player to record that many assists in 1 match. She broke the rookie season assist record with her 7th assist on May 10th, and later that month led the league in assist with 8. I feel like she recovered from her ACL injury and then just took off right from there. I feel like she just I don't know, she just really impressed everybody with how much assists and scores she's had. Okay. Now we have the 4th pick, who is Brecca Mozingo for the Utah Royals. She played for BYU, who had the 2nd most players drafted in the NWSL at a total of 5 players. At BYU, Mozingo appeared in 92 games, scoring 36 goals and 37 assists. In the 2023 season, Mozingo was one of the nation's leaders in total points with 14 goals and 15 assists. Mozingo signed her first professional contract with the Utah Royals through 2025 with an option for 2026. Mozingo made her professional debut on March 16, 2024 in a 0-2 loss to the Chicago Red Stars. Number 5 in the draft was Hal Hirschfeld from Clemson University, now playing for the Washington Spirit. Hirschfeld played 5 seasons as a defensive midfielder for the Clemson Tigers from 2019 to 2023, earning 3rd-time All-ACC honors as a sophomore, 2nd-team All-ACC as a junior and senior, and 1st-team All-ACC as a graduate student. In her last year at Clemson, she led the Tigers to the semifinals of the 2023 NCAA tournament and was named to the All-Tournament team. For the Washington Spirit, she made her debut as a starter in the season opener against Seattle Reign FC on March 17th. The next week, she scored her first professional goal to equalize in a 2-1 home win over Bay FC on March 23rd. She equalized again in a 3-1 comeback win against the Houston Dash on April 12th. Number 6 in the draft was Ryland Turner from UCLA, who now plays for the Racing Louisville. She finished her collegiate career ranking 5th at all time at UCLA in goals, game-winning goals, and multi-goals, and 6th in total points. In 2021, she became the first college athlete to sign a name, image, and likeness deal with the sportswear company Nike. As a senior in 2023, Turner became the first player in UCLA program history to win the Pac-12 Forward of the Year award. At the professional level, Turner has played in a total of 10 matches and scored 2 goals and had 2 assists for Racing Louisville. From Penn State University, Kate Wiesner was the number 7 draft pick in the NWSL for the Washington Spirit. Penn State University also tied at second with BYU with 5 total players drafted this year in the NWSL. In 2022, Wiesner, I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. Wiesner led the Big Ten Conference with 11 assists and scored 2 goals, including the game winner in the semifinals of the 2022 Big Ten tournament, which Penn State won. She was the team's co-captain and part of their conference best defense in her final season in 2023, so she has always had that great leadership skills. She made her first debut as a starter in the Spirit season opener against the Seattle Reign on March 17th. The number 8 draft pick was Maya Doms from Stanford University. I've talked about her a couple of times in my shows when I talk about NWSL games because she always just happens to pop up. She helped her team win the 2019 NCAA College Cup. From 2019 to 2023, Doms played in 100 games, starting 84 of them, tallying 33 goals and 20 assists. As a 5th-year senior and team captain, Doms was a first-team All-American, All-Region, and All-Pac-12 pick, recording 12 goals and 6 assists while leading Stanford to the 2023 Women's College Cup final. Now on the Bay FC, she scored her first goal during a preseason match against San Diego Wave at the 2024 Coachella Valley Invitational. Doms made her professional debut on May 1st, coming on in the 76th minute as a substitute in Bay FC's game against the Portland Thorns. The number 9 draft pick was Allie Lemos from UCLA. She is playing for Orlando Pride, and we've talked about this a bunch of other times. Orlando Pride... Wow, I am so sorry, I keep stuttering. Orlando Pride is ranked 1st right now and has a winning streak of 5 games. They're doing absolutely phenomenal. I recommend watching their games if you have a chance. As a freshman, Lemo started all 25 games, registered a conference leading 9 assists, and also scored 1 goal at UCLA. She was named to the Pac-12 All-Freshman team as well as the NCAA College Cup All-Tournament team as UCLA won the 2022 National Championship, the 2nd program history. As a sophomore, she started all 19 games, leading all outfield players in minutes. She scored 2 games and 2 assists as UCLA won the Pac-12 regular season title. Lemos ended the year with first-team All-Pac-12 honors, and then for the Orlando Pride, at the time of her selection, she became the 4th youngest player drafted in the NWSL, which is so insane, and she doesn't play like she is younger, if that makes sense. But she doesn't appear young on the field. She appears like a professional that has been on the field for years. That is what she literally plays like. She is just so naturally gifted and so naturally athletic that she can just, she just looks like she was meant to be on that team. Can't explain it. Lastly, the number 10 draft pick was Lilani Nesbeth from Florida State University. She won the 2 NCAA championships with Florida State and was twice named to the All-ACC second team. She has played a total of 7 matches with the Chicago Red Stars and has scored 1 goal. She has been very dominant on the field. She has not gotten much mention of her name, honestly. I feel like people don't talk about her as much. But she has been doing really, really well, especially when she does get that media attention. But she has been really impressing me, especially. She's someone who, I feel like when you don't hear someone's name and then they really go out on the field and they really do amazing, you just are 10 times more impressed. And she's definitely been doing that for sure. Okay, so we're now going to move on to the next segment where we talk about Gabby Douglas withdrawing from a spot at the Olympics and the teams that are qualified to compete in women's soccer at the Olympic Games. Before we get into that, we are going to be taking a short break, so I will see you guys very soon.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
Welcome back, everybody, to the GSMC Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Oh my gosh, my voice is like going away. So sorry about that. So we just got done talking about the NWSL draft picks and how they're doing right now in the season, and we're now going to talk about some Olympic updates. We're going to talk about two things: Gabby Douglas's withdrawal from Olympic trials and the qualified soccer teams that you guys should keep your eyes on. So, as we all know, Gabby Douglas went to make a comeback in the Paris Olympics. We all watched her in the 2012 Olympics, or at least know about her making history as America's first Black all-around Olympic champion. I'm going to pull a picture up just because it's more fun that way. During the Olympic trials in San Jose, California in 2012, Gabby Douglas placed first in the all-around rankings, and through that she secured the only guaranteed spot on the women's Olympic gymnastics team. During the actual Olympic Games, Douglas was the only one on the USA team to compete in all four: the vault, uneven bars, balance beam, and floor exercise during the finals of the team competition. She then won the gold medal in the individual all-around, and the team itself also won gold at the Olympics. In 2022 is where arguably Gabby was really starting to make her comeback. In October 2022, several gymnastics media outlets reported that Douglas returned to training at WOGA in Texas. So actually, Gabby was supposed to make her competitive return in February at the 2024 Winter Cup, but she then had to withdraw, unfortunately, after testing positive for COVID-19 2 days before the competition. That really was rough because it definitely was going to be her first time coming back, and everybody was excited to see her. And there were so many rumors of her. Is she competing? Is she not competing? Is she actually training? Is she not? So it is unfortunate that she had a withdrawal then. And then she started training specifically for the Paris Olympics, and she really made that known that this was her goal, to go to the Paris Olympics. So the 2024 Olympics would be the first time where she would be competing since 2016. Douglas competed at the American Classic in Katy, Texas, and it wasn't the most perfect performance that she would have wanted. She landed one of the best vaults of that afternoon, but unfortunately she had some stumbles on the uneven bars, so she did not meet all of the points needed for all-around qualification at the national championships. It was quite shocking for a lot to see her struggle on the uneven bars because that was known as her best event. She did qualify for the uneven bars, ball, and balance beam anyway for the Core Hydration Classics, just not the floor. So she competed at the Core Hydration Classics on May 17th to the 18th. In her first event, the uneven bars, Douglas scored just a 10.10 and fell twice on pirouetting skills. As gymnasts made their way to the second rotation, the live event stat sheet inserted all 0.0 for Douglas's remaining 3 events, which signified her withdrawal. A lot of the spectators, including myself, were very confused. It looked like she was challenging mentally more than physically. She seemed very disappointed in herself, and it was very heartbreaking seeing her have those issues on the uneven bars. She specifically fell once, I can't even explain it very well, but she twisted her body the wrong way, fell, and then after maybe 5 minutes later, she got back up and then just got off the bar, it looked voluntarily. I don't know that 100%, but it just looked very much like she felt like she needed to get off the bar. It wasn't an accidental fall. Anyway, on the brighter side though, she already qualified to compete on vault and balance beam at the USA Championships, which will take place today through June 2nd. So even though she dropped out of the other events at the Classics, Douglas would still be able to compete in those events at the Championships. However, Gabby Douglas ended up withdrawing from the Championships, which means that she will not be able to compete at all in the Paris Olympics. She said she withdrew because of an ankle injury which she sustained during training, but she also said she intends to continue training in preparation for the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles. I'm hoping she's going to be on a brighter path for the 2028 Olympics, and it will be interesting to see if she it will be interesting to see if she continues training and preparing despite her age and having overcome so many difficult injuries. I'm rooting for her. I would like to see her compete at the Olympics again, but there are just so many younger gymnasts on the USA team that are just really, really making headlines, like Simone Biles. Either way, I think the USA team is going to end up being very strong despite not having the opportunity of the champion Gabby Douglas being on the Olympic team, even as an alternate or something. I'm hoping she makes a comeback though eventually, and we see her competing at other competitions from the time of this year to 2028. I don't know though. I really don't. And I hope that she comes out with more information, maybe a social media post or something, or does an interview on like what her actual plan is for training and such. Because it does seem her injuries are very serious, and I mean, sometimes it's worse to just keep training on an injury. So we'll see, and I will make sure to keep you guys updated with that. So now we're going to switch over to talking about soccer. 12 footballing nations will battle it out at Paris 2024 in a bid to win an Olympic medal. Qualifications for the Olympic Games has previously been decided by World Cup finishings, but this year saw a change to the qualification system and a new reliance on the UEFA Nations League results. It was decided that the top two finishing teams from the 2023 to 2024 UEFA Women's Nations League would go on to claim a spot at Paris, a fate which now has been confirmed for Europe's top sides. A similar qualification system was then implemented for the American, Oceanic, and Asian and African federations. First, let's start with the qualifications by the UEFA Women's Nation Leagues. So it does get a bit complicated. So teams are split into 4 groups of 4 for the group stages in League A of the UEFA Women's Nations League, with the top 4 teams from each group progressing to the semifinals. The Netherlands, who were in Group A1 alongside England, Scotland, and Belgium, topped their group with 12 points and a goal difference of 8. The Dutch beat Belgium 4-0 in their final group game, which meant that the European champions England, despite winning 6-0 against Scotland in their final game, missed out on a chance for the Paris 2024 qualification. England failing to qualify means that Team GB, or Great Britain, the combined team of England, Scotland, and Wales, will not be competing in Paris. France topped Group A2 with 16 points, which saw them move on to the semifinals of the UEFA Women's Nation League. As a host for this year's Olympic Games, France has already qualified. Germany finished top of Group A3 by a single point, with Denmark just missing out on their chance to qualify for Paris. And reigning FIFA World Cup champion Spain took the remaining semifinal spot after topping Group A4 by 5 clear points. Spain went on to win their semifinals against the Netherlands 3-0 on February 23rd to secure their spot to Paris. Germany beat the Netherlands 2-0 in the UEFA Women's Nation League, third place payoff on February 28th to obtain the final European spot. Now let's talk about the qualifications by the CO and CACAFW championships. This is a very long acronym, and I don't know, some people like literally will say out the word, like sound it out. I like to say the letters because it gets so confusing, but this acronym stands for Confederation of North Central America and Caribbean Association Football. The USWNT won their spot in Paris after they won the championship in July 2022. They beat Canada 1-0, but Canada still qualified after a 2-legged 4-1 win out over Jamaica in a playoff match. So those teams will be there. Moving on to the qualifications by the, and I am so sorry I'm pronouncing this incorrectly, I cannot do accents. Moving on to the qualifications by the Copa America Femenina, Brazil and Colombia secured their qualification an entire 2 years prior to Paris 2024, when they both made it to the final in 2022. Brazil beat Paraguay 2-0 in the semifinals, which saw them progress to the finals, while Colombia won 1-0 against Argentina. In the end, it was Brazil who emerged victorious with a 2-0 win in the final, but both teams had already done enough to secure their spot at Paris 2024. Wow. The Olympics are this year, my bad. The third and final round of the 2024 AFC Women's Olympic Qualifying Tournament took place in February 2024. Australia beat Uzbekistan 3-0 and 10-0 to qualify for Paris, while Japan defeated North Korea 2-1 at home after drawing 0-0 in the first leg. The 2024 AFC Women's Olympic Qualifying Tournament, AFC Women's Olympic Qualifying Tournament was held in February with just one space at the Olympic Games up for grab. So, New Zealand trounced the Solomon Islands 11-1 in the final to secure qualification to Paris. Nigeria and Zambia obtained the final 2 spots to Paris in the deciding matches on April 9th. Zambia needed extra time to eliminate Morocco, turning around a 2-1 first leg loss with a 2-0. Nigeria drew 0-3 with South Africa after a 1-0 win the following week. So here's the full list of nations that have confirmed their qualification for the Paris Olympics, just to wrap this up, make this make more sense. Okay, so we have France as the host nation. USA, Canada, Brazil, Colombia, New Zealand, Spain, Japan, Australia, Germany, Nigeria, and Zambia. So we're now going to move on to the next segment where we talk about who is competing in the Golf Women's Opens, specifically the people from the Epson tournament. Before we get into that, we're going to be taking a very short break, so I will see you guys very soon.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
Welcome back, everybody, to the GSMC Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We just got done talking about Olympic updates with Gabby Douglas withdrawing and the qualified soccer teams for the Olympics. We're now going to talk about the U.S. Women's Open competitors in professional golf. So the 2024 U.S. Women's Open started today at Lancaster Country Club. The major championship is celebrating its 79th playing. Of the 156 players in the field, 20 of those athletes are currently Epson Tour members and are vying for a cut of a $12 million purse. In this segment, we're going to talk about the Epson Tour players that are making appearances at the Women's Open. Okay, so, and also, by the way, guys, we will be covering the first day of the U.S. Women's Open tomorrow in the show, so if you're interested in hearing about that, I recommend that you guys check out that show tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay, so let's first talk about Harriet Lynch, a 23-year-old Epson Tour rookie who is making their debut appearance at the Opens. While competing collegiately at Fresno State University, she finished third in the 2024 Mountain West Conference Championship, competing in the women's amateur conducted by the RNA in 2022, and finished her fifth in the final year with a 73.71 scoring average. I think she's going to do pretty well. Next, we have Alana Uriel, who is 27 years old and is making her first appearance at the Opens. She is a University of Arkansas alum and has found success on the Epson Tour in her career, winning in the Sky Eye Golf Championship in 2019 and adding 6 more top 10 finishes over the last 3 years. She also recorded a top 10 finish on one of the LPGA tours during her 2019 season, finishing T9 at Thornberry Creek LPGA Classic. Now in 2024, she is entering the U.S. Women's Open after earning her best finish of the season at the Copper Rock Championship at T12. Savannah Valaba, a 30-year-old who started her career on the Epson Tour in 2016. Since 2017, she has had 1 victory at the 2023 Copper Rock Championships and 7 more top 10 finishes on the Epson Tour. She competed on the LPGA Tour during the 2022 season, but did not end up playing in the US Women's Open that year. So this is very exciting for her now to be coming back and playing this year. Also, she should really consider modeling. Okay, next we have Madison Young. This is her debut appearance at the Opens, and she's 27 years old. She captured her first Epson Tour victory at the Casino del Sol Championship earlier this season, and she sits at number 2 in the 2024 race for the card. Since her rookie season on the Epson Tour in 2020, she has collected 5 additional top 10 finishes to go along with her victory. Next, Sofia Garcia. Oh my gosh, Garcia. She is 25 years old, and this is her second time making an appearance at the Opens. Garcia has status on both the LPGA Tour and the Epson Tour this season, and she has made 2 Epson Tour starts and 4 LPGA Tour starts so far this year. On the road to the LPGA, Garcia made both cuts in those 2 starts, and in her 4 starts on the LPGA Tour, she has made 2 over 4 cuts. Her best finish on either tour is a T11 result that came at the Florida's Natural Charity Classic. Garcia made the cut in 2022 in her first start at the Women's Open. It is in good form to make it to 2 for 2 in Lancaster. So I'm excited to talk about how she'll do tomorrow. How she's doing today, but I'll talk about it tomorrow, if that makes sense. Okay, moving on. Sabrina Iqbal. She is 22 years old, so she's one of the younger competitors. She made her first start as a professional at the 2024 Copper Rock Championship after her graduate transfer year at the University of Colorado Boulder. Before she headed to Boulder, she played 4 seasons at Texas Christian University, where she captured medalist honors twice, and she advanced to match play at the 2019 Women's Amateur. She's making her second Women's Open appearance this year after qualifying for the event in 2019 as an amateur. Soo Bin-ju, she is 20 years old, so even younger, one of the youngest competitors. She earned LPGA Tour and Epson Tour status for her rookie season in 2023, only making 3 starts in the Epson Tour that year and spending the majority of her rookie season on the LPGA Tour, where she finished 117th in the season-long race, the CME Globe. During her 2024 campaign, Ju has made 5 starts on the Epson Tour, making the cut in all 5 events. The 20-year-old is playing in her second U.S. Women's Open and is looking to make a regular stop on her schedule as she continues her young career. I definitely think that she is going to be, if she continues playing the way she has been and even better, and continues playing in general, I think that she is going to be literally the star of golf in a couple of years, especially because she started her rookie season when she was 19 years old. Like, that's insane. So just think about how she's going to be like in 3 years, 5 years. Okay, Lou Ruixen. At 25 years old, she made her first appearance at the U.S. Women's Open in 2023, finishing T33 in her tournament debut. She has a decorated past on the official qualifying tour of the LPGA, winning 7 times in her career, including the 2024 Carlisle, Arizona Women's Golf Classic. She has qualified for the LPGA Tour twice through the race of the card and is hoping her win and her 6th-place finish at the 2024 Blue Bay LPGA is just the start of her becoming an LPGA Tour regular once again, and I hope so too. Amelia Lewis. She is 33 years old. One of the, older competitors. She's making her first start at the Opens in 9 years, having played in the major championship the last time it was held at Lancaster Country Club. She's spent time on both the Epson and LPGA tours, recording 14 top 10 finishes between both circuits. In their last appearance at Lancaster, Lewis fell short of making the cut, but will look to change her luck this time around. Ingrid Lindblom. She will be making her 3rd career start at the U.S. Women's Open this week before she has even turned professional. That's insane. The number 1 ranked amateur in the world last played in the event in 2022, where she finished T11. She has also played in the AIG Women's Open 4 times, so she has plenty of experience playing in major championships at a young age. Lindblom is expected to turn professional after the U.S. Women's Open and is currently signed up to make her Epson Tour debut at the Firekeepers Casino Hotel Championship in June. I am really rooting for her because she's not technically professional yet, but she's like a professional, you know what I'm saying? And she has a lot of experience. I have a lot of confidence for her, and she's young, so she's making a lot of impressive stats and starts to her career. Now we got Alexa Melton. At 23 years old, she entered her first U.S. Women's Open after making 2 of 5 cuts in her sophomore season on the Epson Tour. She attended Pepperdine University and Southern California University during her college career, winning the 2019 Southern California Golf Association Women's Amateur before turning professional. Suchia Chang. She is another player who has been battling between the Epson Tour and LPGA Tours over the past few seasons. In 2024, this year, Chang has only made 1 start on the LPGA Tour, missing the cut by a few shots at the Fur Hills Silver Pack Championship. Her Epson Tour season, on the other hand, has gotten off to a flying start, I'll say. She has 2 top 3 finishes this season and is currently number 16 in the race for the card. Amelia Garvey. She is heading back to the Open once again after qualifying for the event in 2023. Garvey finished number 36 in the race for the card in 2023, earning a season best runner-up finish at the Firekeepers Casino Hotel Championship. In 2024, the 23-year-old has not had the start she is capable of, but is looking at the Open as a turning point in this season. Caitlin Papp-Boud. She will be making her 4th start at the U.S. Women's Open when she tees it up on today at Lancaster Country Club. In 2020, at the Champions Golf Club in Houston, Texas, Papp-Boud earned low amateur honors, finishing in a tie for 9th. In her 2024 season this year, Boud has made 2 starts each on both the Epson and LPGA Tours, making all 4 cuts in that stretch with a T13 result at the JM Eagle LA Championship, and the LPGA Tour being the standout event so far this year. With her game rounding into shape at the right time, she is on track for another good run on one of the biggest stages in women's golf. Rachel Rohana. At 33 years old, she is making her 4th Open start this year and her first since 2019. She has plenty of success on the Epson Tour, collecting 20 top 10 finishes, including 2 victories. So I think she's going to be doing really well. Next, we have Lauren Stevenson. She is making her 5th appearance at the U.S. Women's Open in 2024. In her previous 4 starts, she has made 3 cuts, all coming in her last 3 appearances. Her starts in 2020 and 2021 both resulted in a T30 finish, her best result at a U.S. Women's Open. This year on the Epson Tour, Stevenson has shown why she has been an LPGA Tour regular since her rookie season. In her 5 starts, she has made 4 cuts with 3 top 10 finishes and a season best result of T4 that came at the Atlantic Beach Classic. Marissa Steen. Steen entered the Women's Open, making the cut in 2 of her 4 previous appearances, with her last start coming in 2022, where she ultimately finished T22. That was very confusing. I said the year 2022 and her T22. I'm sorry. I'm like, let me say that sentence again because that confused me. Her last 4 appearances, her last start was coming in 2022, where she finished T22. So place 22. Okay. She is a 3-time winner on the Epson Tour, and all 3 of those victories came in her 2014 season. She spent multiple seasons on the LPGA Tour, recording a T10 finish at the 2021 AIG Women's Open. Marielle Galdiano. She is making her first Women's Open appearance since qualifying in 2022. Galdiano made her way into the field after winning in a playoff in her qualifying start in California. In her previous 5 starts at the U.S. Women's Open, Galdiano has made the cut once, doing so in 2015 at this year's host site Lancaster Club. So just like the other girl I talked about before, 9 years. So it's been a little while, but we'll see how it goes. Kim Kaufman. She will be making her 2nd appearance at the Lancaster Country Club for this year's Open, and this is her 7th career appearance at the major championship. So one of the most appearances. In 2015, when the tournament was, last held at Lancaster Country Club, Kaufman made the cut, ultimately finishing in a tie for 35th. She then made the cut the next year. Since then, she has kind of struggled to find her form at the Open, missing the cut in her last 4 starts. The 32-year-old is having a strong start to the season on the Epson Tour, making all 7 cuts so far this year and earning 3 top 10 finishes and a runner-up result at the Atlantic Beach Classic. Past experience and good form could be the key for Kaufman this week. I definitely think that she's definitely having a better start this season this year compared to her previous ones. Last but not least, Maria Ho Uribe, who enters this week with the most experience out of anyone on the list. She will be teeing up at her 11th U.S. Women's Open, but her first in 7 years. In her previous 10 starts, Uribe has made 5 cuts and finished T10 at the 2008 U.S. Women's Open. She has a history of winning USGA events, capturing the 2007 U.S. Women's Amateur and 2008 at Crooked Stick Golf Club. Uribe is also a 2-time Olympian, having the honor representing her native Colombia at the 2016 Rio Olympics and 2020 Tokyo Olympics. So we're now going to move on to our next segment where we talk about the USATF Masters 1 Mile Championships. Before we do so, we are going to be taking a short break, so I will see you guys very soon. Hello guys, welcome back to the GSMC Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Thank you guys for joining for our last segment of today's episode. We just got done talking about the competitors at the U.S. Women's Opens that are taking place today, starting today. Now we're going to be going into the USATF Masters 1 Mile Championship. I'm excited to talk about this because I feel like this is different than most of our other segments. So this championship took place on May 22nd. One American record was equaled and one was broken. So let's first talk about that. Very, very impressive runners, I'll say. Oh, my bad. Sorry, guys. Okay, so Sue McDonald is the 60-64 world record holder, 60-64 age division, world record holder for the mile and 1,500 meters on the track. She matched the 5 minute and 44 seconds road mile record set by the legendary Kathy Martin in 2013. And then Carol Mickelson from the oldest age group, 85 to 89 years old, broke one of the newest American mile records, the 15 minutes and 25 seconds set by Joyce Hodges Height last year. Mickelson smashed it by almost a minute, racing to 14 minutes and 28 seconds. Several other athletes got very close though too. It's important to note that. I also would like to say that this picture is of Sue McDonald both sides. Just wanted to make that clear because it might seem confusing. I unfortunately could not find a picture of Carol Mickelson running, but I did find a profile picture of her. It just was very blurry and not one that I could really use for this. So I just wanted to point that out, that it is not Carol Mickelson on the right or left. That is both Sue McDonald. Okay. So, in the women's 40 to 44 age division, the top 5 contenders were Elizabeth Cami, who just claimed the silver medal overall at the Masters 10 kilometer national championship, Sonia Fredol, the American record holder at 5 minutes and 7 seconds, who won this overall championship at the 2019 mile championships in Flint, Michigan, Courtney Kieran, who in 2017 ran 4 minutes and 41 seconds for a 1,500 meter, roughly equivalent to a 5 minute and 7 seconds miles, Kristen Rode, who claimed the first Masters spot in Portland Shamrock Run this year, and Megan Seale, who took the overall win at the Livermore Half Marathon in 1 hour, 25 minutes, and 34 seconds. Over the last 200 meters, Rode separated herself to take the win in 5 minutes and 15 seconds, 3 seconds ahead of Kieran and 6 seconds ahead of Cami. Fran Ull, who appeared to lose a second or two at the start, finished 4th in 5 minutes and 25 seconds. 3 seconds later, Seale finished 5th. I do want to say this is so funny to me that it was 3 seconds separated. I just think it's a funny coincidence. In the women's 45 to 49 age division, Alyssa Barrett Allison Barrett, Jacqueline Cook, Amy Crane, and Claire Saxton appear to be the fastest 4 entries in a strong field. Cook, Barrett, and Saxton were all here last year. Cook to the win in 5 minutes and 23 seconds. Barrett ran 5 minutes and 42 seconds to finish third in the 40 to 44 age division, while Saxton ran in the open race, clocking 5 minutes and 45 seconds. Crane, meanwhile, had clocked in 19 minutes and 56 seconds at a turkey trot 5K last November, and she ran 2 hours 57 minutes and 18 seconds at the Boston Marathon this year. Cook, meanwhile, had run 3 hours, 1 minute and 20 seconds at Boston Marathon. So, they're pretty close, but Saxton had not run at Boston nor at any other marathon recently. Whether that made the difference or not, Saxton had more on Sunday, pulling away over the final stretch for the win. Cook followed at 5 minutes and 41 seconds, with Crane in third at 5 minutes and 49 seconds. In the women's 50 to 54 age division, Fred Ull, the American 45 to 49 age division record holder, finished 4th overall. The 2 main contenders for the remaining podium spots were Samantha Ford and Felicia Negley. Ford won the division here last year in 5 minutes and 56 seconds. Negley was faster over the mile at the recent Indoor Masters Championships in Chicago. She clocked 5 minutes and 50.01 seconds to finish second behind Fred Ull. And in Chicago, Negley could not stay close to Fred Ull, but headed up to the final 200 meters, she had a big gap on Ford, which grew to 50 meters by the time Negley crossed the finish line. Ford was probably not pushing at the end, realizing the silver medal was, out of her reach, and the third place runner was well back. Ford's time, 7 seconds slower than last year, was 6 minutes and 3 seconds. It's still good, but it wasn't her best. In the women's 55 to 59 age division, Elizabeth Guarini entered in the last few days of registration. And when she did, she immediately became the favorite. She won this division in the Carlsbad 5,000 meter in early April. And then Guarini had no problem delivering on a promise of victory on May 22nd. She had a lead of 200 meters when she crossed the finish line. Veronica Marzarini enjoyed second place in 7 minutes and 26 seconds. Pretty big gap there. Rachel Vinke finished third at 8 minutes and 40 seconds with a substantial lead over Sue Ma, who finished fourth. And there's a pretty big gap in between all of these places here. Moving on to the women's 60 to 64 age division, as noted before, Sue McDonald managed to tie the American record. McDonald won in 5 minutes and 44 seconds with 100 meters to spare. Nancy Simmons, who finished second at 6 minutes and 9 seconds, had a similar gap in the third place runner, Allison Orofino. And Orofino broke up the lead by claiming third in 6 minutes and 36 seconds. In the 65 to 69 women's division, 4 athletes would basically compete for the win. It was Ruby Galadiali, Stella Gibbs, Lindsay Hines, and Michelle Montgomery. Galadiali won this division here last year. Gibbs won just by 2 seconds in 6 minutes and 30 seconds. 3 seconds later, Hines claimed third with 30 meters to spare at a time of 6 minutes and 32 seconds. Galadiali finished fourth in 6 minutes and 44 seconds. This was pretty close, all of these 3 places, especially the first and second place. In the women's 70 to 74 age division, all 5 entries were teammates from the club and Palo Racing. They were Donna Chan, Melinda Morris, and Irene Herman. Chan had no trouble taking the division win. Her 7 minutes and 36 seconds provided a 40-meter margin of victory. Harriman, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, guys, wait. Okay, I totally forgot to put the other slide in here, I guess. I'm very sorry, guys. I'm sorry, guys. I make mistakes. On these pictures all the time, and I feel so bad. I'm so sorry, guys. But I'll just talk a lot slower so we can grasp the seconds, because it can kind of get confusing. So Chan took the division win. Her 7 minutes and 36 seconds provided a 40-meter margin of victory. Harriman found that the shorter distance worked in her favor, and she finished second at 7 minutes and 49 seconds. And then in a tight finish, Brooke got the third place finish time with Morris at a time of 7 minutes and 58 seconds. So the two of them tied in third. Lastly, in the women's 75 to 79 age division, which I have here, please tell me that this is it. Yes, okay. Joanne Rowland, Andrea McCarter, and Nelda Williams towed the line. Last year, Rowland won the division here with 7 minutes and 45 seconds. Even though it was a technically an off day for her. Rowland had no trouble winning overall in 8 minutes and 3 seconds, 200 meters ahead of her competition. McCarter rose to the challenge from Williams. McCarter cut over a minute off her mile time from last year, finishing second in 9 minutes and 32 seconds. Williams finished third with a time of 10 minutes and 24 seconds. All of these races were very interesting to watch, and it was very much a huge event for California, especially with a lot of the spectators that came. And the amount of people that ran the event, like, oh my goodness, so many people. I do want to apologize once again for not having a picture for one of them. I know that can get very confusing when there is no picture, and I apologize for not inserting a picture for one of the H divisions. Okay, so that concludes our show for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the GSMC Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Your support means a lot to us, so please remember to subscribe to the show and leave a positive review. It really does make a difference. We also invite you to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for more content and updates. And every single day, all of us and the podcast, we do 4 shorts of, YouTube Reels, YouTube Shorts, whatever you want to call it, to update on our sports. So make sure you go check those out as well. Thank you guys once again, and have a wonderful day.